Okay, this is on now. Right, we're good to go, Brandon. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back. Got another Rugby Podcast here. Just a bit of funsies with the Lions tour to South Africa coming up next year, next summer, 2021. We thought we'd just do a couple of fun videos just saying who would be in our Lions squad and who we think would be in the test teams. This video is going to be talking about the backs we would take to South Africa next year. A lot of it's based on current form right now, but as we all know, a lot can change within a year. So we're just going by current form and both our opinions, see what we think, and obviously you can leave your feedback in the comments of what you think as well. So how you doing, Brandon, first and foremost?
Yeah, really good, mate. It does seem like a long time away, the Lions, obviously, but it will come quick. Obviously, not much rugby on, so looking forward to getting into this podcast.
Yeah, well, of course, a few things still probably up in the air in it, but fingers crossed by next year we'll all be close to back to normal, so something to look forward to at least. Anyhow, we're just going to go through our the squads. I think the backs we pick. I've gone with 19 backs in mind. How many have you gone for?
Same as you, 19.
Okay.
Thought it was important. Tried to keep it the same. I think we got a lot of similar players that we picked in the same positions, but two great minds think alike and all that kind of thing. So, so for fullback, we've gone with two fullbacks each. So I said Liam Williams, first of all, as a Welshman. Now, it was very difficult between Liam Williams and Halfpenny. I love them equally. I think they're both great players. Liam Williams maybe a little bit more attack-minded. Halfpenny under the high ball is brilliant, and as a kicking option is also brilliant, but I feel as if I have enough kicking options throughout the rest of the team to make up for that. And also, the other man is Stuart Hogg. Stuart Hogg, in my opinion, one of the best attacking fullbacks in the world. I think through going to Exeter, that's really, really developed his game and has helped him. We've spoken about it numerous times about him being captain, and has that affected his performance maybe a little bit. But as an attacking force, if you kick the ball to him, give him space, he's certainly going to exploit that.
Yeah, I've gone for the same. Obviously, Hoggy, if he can, make sure he absolutely cuts those stupid errors out of his game, that'll be the two blatant errors. But apart from that, I think he's possibly the best all-round fullback in the British Isles, I'd say, on his day. And if you give him a bit of space and give him an inch, he's going to take a mile. And I think he'd be a threat to any defence. And against a team like South Africa, where they're going to be kicking the ball a lot, to have someone like him at fullback and potentially running back at you and asking you a few questions, I think would be a good choice. Obviously, I'd go for Liam Williams as the second choice fullback because I think he showed in 2017 on his day how good he is in that position. Plus, I think he's a bit more reliable under the high ball than Hogg is, so that would be. It depends what sort of game it turns into. I mean, I personally would pick Hogg just above him, mainly because I think he on his day gives a bit more in attack. As Liam Williams, is a little bit more solid, but I think it's a close call. I personally go for Hogg because biased, I say. But yeah, I think those are the two fullbacks. On to wingers now. I've gone for 6 wingers. How many have you gone for?
I went for 6 as well. But yeah, I chose a few different players to yourself. I'm interested to hear who you went for.
Okay, I think this will spark a few comments below, particularly if you're Welsh or you're Irish. Even English, if you've got a preference for a couple of them. So far, I went for Anthony Watson, basically because his form on the last Lions tour, and I think he's shown over the years what a great winger he is. He's got all the skills. He's very... You okay? Your screen's frozen. Screen's frozen. You alright?
Okay, mate?
Yeah, your screen froze there for a bit.
Yeah, and yours as well.
Okay, that's weird. Right, we all okay now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll cut this bit out. As I said, I went for Anthony Watson, basically, because I think he's shown himself as a top-class winger. He's got all the attributes, a very clever player. Also gone for Darcy Graham, Scotsman. I think his footwork and his ability with ball in hand and step would be a good asset to have. Johnny May, because of his abilities, his try-scoring record. And Elliot Daly, because I think he's a better winger or a centre than a fullback, and I think he's, even though he wouldn't be playing in position he plays for internationals, I still think he's a good player to have in the squad. And Josh Adams, you'll obviously agree with me why there. And I've also gone for Andrew Conway of Ireland, because I think he's been brilliant in the past 6 months or so, and I think he's earned his spot. He's got a good brain, a good burst of pace on him as well. So, and he's strong for his size as well. So, who have you gone for?
Got to start with the Welshman first of all. Josh Adams, one of the best finishers in world rugby, has been consistently doing that for the past 2 years. Anthony Watson also was into my squad as well. I just think he's such an all-round player, really. He's good attacking, but pretty good defensively as well. Can cover the fullback position if you need him to, and he's quick as well. So that's always very handy. I'm intrigued by your decision over Andrew Conway. I personally wouldn't have put him in there. Someone who did make me think a bit was Jacob Stockdale, but I just don't think he's been in that great form over the past 12 months compared to where he was maybe a year and a half ago to 2 years.
My problem with Stockdale is he seems to struggle running backwards, and he's been exploited at that the past year or so. I think if you can get him with ball in hand on the wing and you can give him a lot of ball, he can be dangerous. But when running backwards, as England showed against him past Six Nations, he seems to have a problem with that. He doesn't seem to like doing that much, and I think that's an area that especially South Africans with their kicking game could target, which is why I wouldn't pick him, as well as Foreign. Whereas Conway, albeit on the other wing, I think is definitely better at doing that. So that's why I'd leave Stockdale out and put Conway in. But also shouts as well to so Jack Noel and Joel Zaga, pardon me, who wouldn't have been bad ones to take either, I don't think. So yeah, who else did you go for?
Johnny May as well. Johnny May obviously has to be in there. Although sometimes I do question his intelligence as a player, but he just does what a winger needs to do. He defends his position and he runs with the ball. He's quick. He can finish opportunities. He's like what you want to see with young children who play rugby. They see the opportunity, they go for it. They don't just think, pick up the ball, run, tackle. They see the opportunity and they go for it as well. I think Jack Noel's a really interesting one. I was very close. I'm on the fence about him because I think he's such a workman. He works so hard on the pitch. He gets involved defensively. And although he may not score as much as Johnny May does, he does create something interesting, And finally, the last person, the Scottish person I'm going to put in there, I think Darcy Graham is within a shout. I think as a Welshman, he's the closest player I've seen to Shane Williams in the last 5 years, maybe. And he may not quite be ready for that level. I'm not sure yet. It's a close one. But I think he's a very, very exciting player. And I think if he has a good 12 months and plays well for Scotland in the autumn and next Six Nations, then why not take him, give him an opportunity.
Yeah, well, what we're seeing of him so far, he's definitely on the way there, I'd say. Is there any? So you've gone for Watson, May, Adams. Did you go for Stockdale or did you?
No. Darcy Graham, and the final one was Jack Noel.
All right, okay. So you left out Elliot Daly.
Yeah, I don't know. Elliot Daly's a good player. He's very versatile. He can cover a lot of positions, but I think the beauty with the Lions is you get to pick the player from any of 4 countries who's best in that certain position. And I don't think he is best at wing, or I don't really know what his best position is as such. I don't think it's at fullback, obviously. But I just think that, if you can have a specialist winger in that position, or you can have a specialist centre in that position, then why don't you take them? Just that's my opinion.
Well, my opinion for taking him is because he's versatile, and I think he could, and also because of his big left foot as well. He can, he would be an option of the long kicks as well. So that's why I take him, and he has got brains about him. Even though I think technically as a fullback he's still got a bit to be desired. I still don't think he's quite up for it in certain bits of that position. I think a lot of English fans think that as well. I think a lot of them think he's better as a winger or as a centre, and we don't see him enough at centre because see him play there for what? Well, when he played for Wasps, he played there a lot, and he was a really good handy player there. Okay, so so you've gone for Watson, Graham, Adams, May, Jack Nowell, and you didn't go for Andrew Conway, who else did you?
I didn't go for Andrew Conway. I was struggling for a sixth. I did think about George North, but I just don't think that he's quite been there recently. I think someone like Johnny McNichol has been really impressive over the past few months. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, I'm not too sure, but he's been really consistent for Wales over the Six Nations. He didn't really put a foot wrong, I didn't feel, and I felt like his speed and his eagerness to get involved was something really to admire. But again, he's only played for Wales for a couple of months. Is he ready for the Lions? I know it's a year away. It's tough to say. I probably would go with someone like Joe Cokanasiga. He's powerful, he's direct, and he can get over the gain line, and he's something that's a little bit different. And the South Africans are super physical anyway, so he would offer something a little bit more brutal.
Okay, so you're going for Cokanasiga then? Okay. Yeah. So that's four English wingers you've picked, and I've gone.
As a Welshman, it hurts.
I've gone for three. I've gone for three. One Scotsman and one Scotsman, one Welshman, one Irishman. On to the centres now. I've gone for how many? I went for five. One of them I'm a bit not sure about. You want to list your ones first, then we'll see where we can.
Yeah.
I think we've maybe got a few different opinions here, so I'll let you go.
So first of all, I've got to go with the Englishman who's into the teams. So we've got Manu Tuolangi going in. I think he is an absolute bulldozer. Very unlucky with injuries. Somehow was voted the best centre in the world recently by Rugby Pass, but we will glance over that. But I do think he's one of the best in the British and Irish islands. Certainly is. Very powerful, gets over the gain line, can finish. And, probably one of the best performances I've ever seen when England beat New Zealand back in 2012, 2011 maybe. One of the best performances I've ever seen by any player on a rugby pitch. The other one is Henry Slade. I think this is what England should be doing anyway. Foul at 10, Slade then at 13 and Manu at 12, or the other way around. I just think he offers so much. He has been, again, unfortunate with injuries and has been a bit of a bit-part player under Eddie Jones, like sometimes playing, sometimes not. It's a bit strange what's going on there. So Henry Slade as well for me. The third one, in my opinion, one of the best centres in the world, and not biased saying this as a Welshman, Foxy, Jonathan Davis. He definitely has got to go in. One of the best attacking centres in the world. His handoff is trademark. His defensive play and his kicking game also is very underrated in my opinion. So he has to go in. I couldn't really think of any Scotsmen that I would want to put in there if I'm bein totally honest.
That's fine. No offence taken.
I didn't really feel as if Hugh Jones was certainly not his game.
No.
And what's the Aussie-born centre called?
Sam Johnson.
Sam Johnson, yeah. I just don't think he's there yet. Yeah. For Ireland, only one name really made me think was Bundy Aki. I generally think he's been really good for Ireland. Works hard and gets over the gain line as well and puts a shift in defensively. But I was struggling other than that, really. I didn't feel that there were that many great centres, really. But I'm interested to hear what you think of my list.
Okay, so you've gone for Davis, Tuolangi, Slade and Aki.
Yeah.
Okay, only four of them, three of them specialist outside centres.
Yeah. I'm struggling to think of anyone who is really standing out at centre. Like Hadley Parks, for instance, is off to Japan, so he'll be gone. Scotland probably on blessed in the centre position, if we're being totally honest. England, then you got a few other options who can come off the bench. And Ireland, Ringrose, if he can stay fit, he does catch a lot of injuries. So.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, I didn't go for Bundy Aki because I personally think he's a bit too one-dimensional. But with Tuolangi, I think that wouldn't be a bad combination, actually. Tuolangi and Slade, or Tuolangi and Davis, with Tuolangi at 12. Because I actually think Tuolangi's performance at 12 against Ireland at the start of the 2019 Six Nations was probably one of the best defensive shifts I've seen from him ever. He was absolutely phenomenal that match. So I think him at 12 and Davis or Slade at 13 wouldn't be a bad shout at all. But yeah, I'm with you in that I've gone for Davis, Tuolangi, Slade. I've also gone for Gary Ringrose in my team because I think as a player he is probably the most talented centre Ireland have right now, and you just give him a bit of space and he he can punish you, he can break lines well, he's got the ability to create something out of nothing, almost like Brian O'Driscoll did, even though I don't think he's as complete a all-round player as O'Driscoll was, of course, but I think he's definitely got a lot to offer, and I would definitely take him. I've also, in a fifth centre option, as I said, I didn't go for Bundyaki because I think he's a bit too one-dimensional. But I was struggling for either Robbie Henshaw or Sam Johnston. But I'm going to let, Henshaw mainly because he's, quite versatile. And also I think he's got the, nous as well about him is a possibility. And Sam Johnston, because I think he runs good lines at 12. He's a good defender and he offers a lot. But I'm going to let my heart rule my head. I'm going to go for Johnson as the my fifth centre option.
Okay, I'm interested about that, but the reason I think of Johnson
I don't think he'll start in the tests if he goes. I think he'd be a good player to have as the as a squad player. But if he plays well, who knows? But no, that's just me maybe being a bit biased there because I think he can tackle hard. He's got a good brain about him. He runs very good direct line, so I think that'll be an option. But again, entitled to disagree with me.
No, again, we have to think about things like Owen Farrell can play 12, although I certainly don't believe that's his best position. Obviously Eddie Jones played him a lot at 12, and he could certainly be an option. If someone goes down injured, then he can move to 12, and then you can bring a different 10 on. Sam Johnston, I'm not for me. But yeah, I think Robbie Henshaw certainly could be in there. But yeah, we will do another podcast on who we would start in the team. But at the minute, I'd be leaning towards either Slade and Tuolangi or Tuolangi and Davis at the minute.
Okay, I'm with you there on the starting pairings. That is maybe not so much the squads close, but yeah, we'll discuss that another time because I was trying to come up with my starting lineup. I came up with a few interesting picks, but another time for that one. Okay, so if we're going for fly halves, have you gone for two or three there?
I've gone for three. One again is Owen Farrell because he can play centre as well, so he kind of fits into both brackets really. Owen Farrell, for me, although I hate his guts and he pisses me off so much on the pitch with his stupid celebration or whatever he does.
The celebration I think is for a charity thing he supports, isn't it? So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'm a bad person. I'm such a bad person.
I was going to say that's the least that bothers me about him. So.
And the second thing that really annoys me about him is the way that he talks to refs. I think he's got a lot to learn from other captains. But apart from that, we're just focusing on his performance on the pitch. I think he is a heck of a player. I think his ability to really grasp the game by the balls is quite impressive. Although sometimes we have seen recently where that has not been the case. But his decision making, I think, is pretty good. I think his ability to kick under pressure is pretty good at the post. Although recently, saying all that, he has struggled. Against England, against Scotland, so he did miss those kicks. I know the weather was terrible, but you'd expect him to get them kicking the ball out on the full under the pressure. The other name that I did think about, and I know you thought about this name, is Gareth Anscombe. Now, he's been really, really unlucky with this horrible injury that he's had, which has kept him out for the whole season, missed the World Cup. And I actually felt like, although I love Biggar, and I do think Biggar has developed his defence, his attacking output, I do think that Anscombe was just that more naturally attacking, had that natural instinct to attack. Yeah. And I think against the Springboks, I'm not saying he would start, but against the Springboks, he is certainly an option to bring off the bench. And then my final pick was Finn Russell. I just think he offers you that something like a maverick, really, which can open up defences. Is he the right player to be starting with over Favell? Probably not for me. But I think off the bench, and if Favell goes down injured or whatever, he's the perfect player to bring on. He just creates something out of nothing, has the confidence to go for things. And if you see the way he plays out Racing, it is incredible to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've picked the same three. With regards to Anscombe, I think, he showed in the 2019 Six Nations where Wales won the Grand Slam. He's a very composed player, knows how to play well under pressure, and I think he offers more than Dan Biggar in terms of how he attacks the line, and he gets the balance, I think, a bit better than Biggar does. Biggar still, I mean, he was trying to do it a bit more in the Six Nations, got a couple of tries off it, but there's a style of game he's not quite used to there. But the thing is, under Gatland, he might, go back into the more attritional sort of Dan Biggar, but I only left Dan Biggar out because he pisses me the fuck off. Just absolutely pisses me off with his attitude on the pitch. But that's the only reason I really left him out. It's personal. But yeah, I mean, and Anscombe, like I say, just looked a very composed player in the Six Nations. I think if he can get back to fitness and form, I think with the style Pivac wants him to play, he'd be close enough to the perfect 10 for that style in terms of executing it well. So, but again, it comes down to form next year. If he can get back to fitness and he can find his form again next season, we'll see there. But I would go for Anscombe, yeah. And Finn Russell, for obvious reasons. I think that would actually be a fantastic idea, having Farrell starting and then Russell off the bench to sort of bring something different as the game goes on. And he would certainly keep the South Africans on their toes. But I mean, under Gatland, I know Gatland likes things very scripted a lot of the time, so I'm not sure if that would happen. But that's who I pick. Notable absentees, though, we have to say, Jonathan Sexton and George Ford. We've not considered either of them. A few Irish folk are going to be on their keyboards right now at this. I'll start with you. Why are you leaving Sexton out? Too old?
Not that. I just think that the other fly halves offer more, basically. I just think they are playing better at the minute, although Anscombe isn't actually playing. But I just think they offer more. I think Farrell offers the physicality. He's the perfect tackler in World Rugby. He's just such a good player. Finn Russell then offers you the ability to open up defences, and Anscombe has shown he can do that as well. So I don't really see the need to take Sexton there. Again, as you say, he's 33 now, although still does a decent job. 34, he's going to be 30. He's going to be 36 when this tour kicks off. So exactly, and the thing is, again, doing this squad is difficult because who knows what can happen in 12 months, as you said at the start. Who knows? He may get an injury, may retire or something. I'm not wishing that upon him, obviously, but that is a big possibility for him. He's at that age where he'll be thinking about retirement, etc. I just don't think he offers that much. Ford is very, very interesting. I was very close to picking him over Anscombe, actually, just because of his understanding with Farrell, because you can then put Farrell at 12, I guess. But I was just thinking maybe a little bit too much into it. Ford has been really, really good for England, actually, when he has played at fly half for them. But I just think the other three offer that little bit more.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. With Sexton, I just think... I would have said maybe, but the Six Nations, the games against the kicks he missed against Wales and England, and his performance in general against England, which was absolutely shocking in the Six Nations, just to me I know people can say, oh, it's only one game, you had a bad game, but to me, it's just looking at him in the past year or so, he's just looking a bit past it, like he's out of ideas. And he's not getting any quicker as well either. I know he's Ireland's captain now, but I don't think that's going to be a long-term thing. So, but it's an interesting one. I personally wouldn't pick him just because of the way his form's been. I think he's past his best. So, yeah, I think.
I think also with Sexton, the way he plays, doesn't really encourage his career to last that long, because what he likes to do is take the ball really close to the line and release it just in time, and he gets absolutely clattered.
Mm-hmm.
I think that game against Scotland, maybe in the 2019 Six Nations, where Stockdale scored one of the opening tries, he popped it through just in time, got absolutely clattered and went off injured. Mm-hmm. He's not really encouraging his body to be able to deal with good things and to be able to play for longer. So the reality is, who knows, he may get a knock and just come back and not be the same player, or he may think about retirement. We just don't know.
All right, well, that's us for another day. We'll see. So I think we're in agreement on the fly halves then. We'll go into scrum halves now. Interesting. I was struggling with this one, actually, I thought, but I sort of... from experience point of view, I would have said maybe Conor Murray or Ben Youngs, but Conor Murray hasn't been the same player since he came back from injury at the start of last year. And last year, by his standards, he was poor. And Ben Youngs he actually started playing well again for England towards the end of the Six Nations, but overall, I think he's a bit past his best as well. He's not been playing well for Leicester this season after the World Cup, but again, 12 months time, a lot can change. So I put them like kind of. My two other choices were Thomas Williams and John Cooney. John Cooney, because his form for Ulster has been brilliant, and I think he showed that when he came off the bench in the Six Nations against England, especially, where he was he just looked so sharp and so much better than Conor Murray, and I thought he really added something to Ireland that day, even though the game was lost. And Thomas Williams, who I've been very impressed with since just pre-World Cup. I think he's got the ability to do it all. I think he's a better passer as well than Sir Gareth Davis. If you talk about options from Wales, that is. I think he's got the capability. He's got a good brain on him as well. So my two ones I would definitely take, like I said, would be Cooney and Williams, and then I've got kind of Murray and Youngs. Like, I'm a bit unsure as to which one of them gets the nod. What about yourself?
Yeah, I like the idea of Cooney and Thomas Williams. My only concern would be, are they a bit similar in the way that they play? Do they offer something different?
I think experience comes into play as well. I know in Gatlin he would be looking to see. I mean, if they were in form at the time, great, but he'd also be looking for experience, I think. So.
Exactly, that experience. I actually think he will pick Gareth Davis. That's why I think he will, because he knows him well. He knows the way that he plays. Ben Youngs did come into form, and I actually thought Conor Murray finished the Six Nations okay by the end. He had one game at the end. I think it was against you guys where he actually played okay.
It was against Wales. The second game he did well, but that England game he was, and the game against us he was really poor. And in terms of form, you have to say Cooney is lightning years ahead of him from an Irish point of view. That is,
Is there no one from Scotland that you would think of?
George Horn.
Ali Price or not?
I wouldn't take Ali Price. George Horn, maybe. I think George Horn's got a lot of ability and could come on very well as an impact substitute in matches. And I think he's getting there. I think by this time next year it'll be George Horn will be our first choice scrum half. But I mean, I'm not. In terms of a Lions pick, I don't think he's there yet. Yeah. So I wouldn't pick him yet, but I would pick, like I said, the two ones we've suggested, and then one that's maybe a bit more experienced.
I personally would go for John Cooney and Thomas Williams, and probably Ben Youngs.
Okay,
I'd probably put in there.
Yeah, okay, I'll go just because he got to a World Cup final and he started to play quite well again towards the end of the Six Nations. I'll agree with you on Ben Youngs there. So. Okay, I think we're mostly the same. We're the same in the halfbacks. The rest of them, the centres, a bit different. A couple of positions. Wingers a bit different. Anything you want to add to that? Or?
I think it's an interesting team that we've picked, and the reality is the way we like to watch rugby. We like to see fast attacking rugby, but we've got to think about who's really in charge of this team and how he wants to play and how he will pick the team. So unfortunately, some of these players may not go and they may not get the opportunity to show what we want them to show. But otherwise, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who Gatland will pick.
Well, yeah, I think because the thing is with Gatland, as much as I'm not a fan of the rugby, he likes teams to play, which is based on efficiency more than trying to be artistry, if you know what I mean, like efficiency over artistry. I think is the best way to sum him up. But I mean, he knows how to get the job done, and the previous 2 Lions tours have shown that he knows how to prepare a team well and get them for a test, despite the media being on his back for and everyone, all of us on social media, getting on his back as well. I was one of them at the last tour. I'm no shame to say that. But so I think he will go with sort of what he knows, but I know he will pick. He knows how to pick on form as well. He showed that with Wales. He's not afraid to make the big calls when he needs to. So I think that will come into play. But so I'm fairly happy with what I've picked. Like I said, notable absentees, obviously Halfpenny, George North, we mentioned, Stockdale mentioned, Sexton, yes, and is it anyone else? Maybe Jordan Larmour would have been a contender, a shout. We didn't mention him.
Yeah, again though, I went for players who I thought, I just think Liam Williams and Stuart Hogg are that good that I don't really see anyone else, like Rob Carney, for instance, someone else you could think about, but he's not. In the next 6 months, he won't be starting for Ireland.
No, he's too old now. I think he's...
Larmour, and Larmour will be taking over that position very shortly. I think that's the best squad that we could pick. Obviously, let us know in the comments your teams. We want to hear who you pick as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple other contenders I was thinking, like maybe outsiders, and there's no doubt going to be a couple of. There's going to be names we're mentioning now that will be completely ripping up the book and changing next year. But I think they've gone for that. So as Brandon said, just let me know what you think in the comments. Anything else to add on this, Brandon, for the Backs video? Or?
No, I think that's everything now, mate.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks for listening, guys. And we'll be back with a forwards video later in the week. And let us know what you think. Are we being too radical? Are we right? Are we wrong? And, just see what you think there. Okay, take care.